Yes, 'tis I, Internet, and 'tis you, Internet. What's up? What's going on, everybody? How you doing? How y'all doing out there today? How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Everybody feeling fresh and sassy on a Monday? Because it's Monday, right? It's Monday. I got some dirt on my face or something. Oh, no. I got stabbed by a sticker bush right here. Look at that. I got scratched on my face, and it shows up. Really? Let's zoom in. Let's enhance. Enhance. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to everybody out there. As you guys noticed from the title, we got ourselves... We are at... 15,000 subscribers today, as of today. And is that exciting? Yes. I think it's exciting. I'm pretty stoked for it. Thank you very much, you guys. It literally would be not possible without y'all showing up for the live stream, sharing it out, watching videos and stuff like that. It literally would not be possible without the subscribers to have subscribers. Right? Like if we didn't have subscribers, then we wouldn't have all the subscribers. So we got that going for us, right? So we hit 15,000 today. I know it's kind of an arbitrary number. It doesn't really mean anything other than it's just like, whoa, cool. It's like an even Steven number, 15,000, which is it's pretty cool. As Mr. Gillett was saying in the chat, it's only taken 38 long, hard years in the cold and the snow and the ice and the uphill both ways to get there. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. It definitely is a bit of a milestone. It's taken a long time to get here, but hopefully we're onward and upward. Somebody asked me a while ago, what's the goal? And I said, you know, my goal is to pass PewDiePie. So, you know, you got to have goals, right? Is that ridiculous? Of course that's ridiculous. But, of course it's ridiculous. But still, it's all good, right? I've got Scottish Aquatics in the chat, who is excited for the upcoming video. He should be excited for the upcoming video because part 1 of the Scottish Aquatics tour comes out tomorrow at some point in time. I don't know. I'd have to look and see when it's scheduled, but it is at the ready. Part 1 is edited, you guys. It's been a long, hard weekend, and I have to admit, is Monday, and I'm not somebody who typically has a case of the Mondays because pretty much every day is like Monday for me. It's like it's get up and work. But I had an exceptionally long weekend this time around. I worked all Saturday out in the hot sun to, you know, help fund this thing. Help fund this project that I'm doing, picking up those weekend shifts out in the hot sun, and then Sunday back home, spent the latter part of the day up in the attic. And as people have mentioned, it's 114 down there in Arizona from Wheezy, giving a shout. It's not 114 here, but it certainly feels like it. The attic is 100%, every part of 114 degrees. I shot the thermometer up on there yesterday, and the wood roof temperature, like, because we have insulation in between, like the roof's up here, insulation here, and I'm working in that area. And I don't even think I want to even say how hot the wood was. It was 138 degrees or something. And I'm not sure if that's the wood or the air. I don't know. It was super hot up in there. I was sweating. I was literally like just dripping sweat all day yesterday. So I think I'm a little bit dehydrated. I've been drinking as much water as I can, but you guys know how it is around here. You can only get so much water into your body. You might give yourself water poisoning. But it has been extremely hot. It was a really long weekend. Happy to say I might be getting closer to funding a new project, which might be coming down the pipe here fairly soon. I think about a month away. You know, but it's just the way that it goes. Leslie 09's Fish Room says it's not ridiculous. Next thing you know, you'll have your own show on XM Radio. I might be inclined to do XM Radio, but I think you have to move to New York. Or maybe that's Sirius. I'm not sure. I think Sirius is in New York. Maybe XM is in... No, because they have a... Because Sirius has an office in LA also. I think they have one in LA, but I'm certainly not interested in moving to New York or LA. No offense to anybody that lives in New York and LA. I love them for visiting. I couldn't do that. I could not do that 365 days out of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go there and visit for like a week or whatever, but it really starts to kind of make me feel a little bit crazy. It's coming at me. It's coming at me all the time. It does make me feel a little bit crazy. So, I don't know. Maybe I think realistically my goal right now is to try and, I'm basically just trying to find a sponsor, really. We're trying to find a sponsor for the show. And, you know, actually, like, this kind of just popped into my head, but somebody asked me a little while ago, they're like, why don't you have Aquarium Co-op sponsor the show? Aquarium Co-op did sponsor the show, if you guys recall, if you guys forgot. Aquarium Co-op did sponsor the show for a month, which is more than generous, super awesome of Corey, and I definitely appreciate it. But we're looking for like a corporate entity, you know what I mean? We're looking like, hey man, let's do some big projects and not put it all on Corey's shoulders because he's very busy. So we're looking for a slightly bigger company that has some advertising dollars and that kind of stuff to basically do projects. That's going to be the biggest. That's the biggest fundraiser thing that we're trying to get done. Is to essentially be able to, like, let's say there was something in New Zealand that we really wanted to film. We wanted to check it out. Like, Corey is flying around right now, just coming back from Peru, and you guys are going to get to check out a bunch of video from him on his channel and stuff. But that was all out of pocket, you know. So that was all out of pocket expense for him to be able to do that, and I just don't have that money, you know what I mean? So we're looking to try and find some companies that make really good products that are trying to sponsor some of those types of projects and things. Realistically, long term, I'm hoping that some kind of company would want to sponsor, you know, a bigger project, something that could become like a series, you know what I mean? A series of doing this, that, or the other, you know, and do like, you know, episodic type stuff and trying to do some episodes of a bigger project, you know what I mean? So we're going to see how it goes. We'll see how it works out, and hopefully we get there. Otherwise, in the meantime, you know, like I said, I'll be working weekends and doing whatever I can to keep these projects going and fund whatever I can, you know what I mean? So As you guys know, I pretty much put everything right back into I put almost everything right back into production of episodes, and you know, somebody asked me what was the Patreon for. Like, one of the things the Patreon was for was helping pay for the plane ticket and the hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff to go to the aquatic experience, which I'm super excited for. Last year was so much fun, and it wasn't so much fun because of like looking at fish tanks or new filters or any of that kind of stuff, even though I do find that to be entertaining. It was, you know, we literally spent 16 hours a day hanging out with the fans, hanging out with you guys, and just getting to meet the people and stuff in person that we just normally can't, because yeah, I don't know how I could walk around and say hi to 15,000 people. And Corey constantly gives me a hard time because he calls me the Bernie Sanders of YouTube, because I have to get one subscriber at a time. If you guys don't know what the story is back in the day, Bernie Sanders used to stand out like on the highway, like near gas stations and stuff, and hand flyers of him running for Congress to people and like shake their hand and talk to him and be like, hey, I'm Bernie Sanders, I'm running for whatever, right? He would literally do it one voter at a time, which is crazy. But Corey gives me a hard time for that. He thinks I'm like the Bernie Sanders of YouTube, because I have to get one subscriber at a time, which realistically, I can't argue with him over that, because if I've been on the platform for 10 years, and there's 365 days in a year, what does that mean? So, you know, what does that mean? I can't imagine that means that anything's good. So, 5 a day, I think, somewhere around there, maybe 4 subscribers a day. Which I still think is really cool. I mean, if I could reach out and say hi to 4 people I've never met every single day, I think that's awesome. I think it's amazing, and it just goes to show you the power of the internet, because I wouldn't be able to walk around and like go meet 4 people every day, realistically. I would eventually know everybody down here in Tacoma. And that might be awkward, because whenever I drive somewhere, people would be like, oh, hey, buddy. I'd never be able to go to the store, you guys. I'd just be hanging out at the store talking to people I know all day, right? I'd be like, man, I'm going to miss the show. Just hanging out with people that I know. Well, speaking of people I know and what's up and what's happening, we got Frank Dominguez first to the chat. And I recently had somebody commented on my channel. What was it? It was on the last video that we did, the last live stream that we did, was like, I don't like all this BS at the beginning, and you could talk a, what was it? You could talk a glass eye to sleep. Which I gotta give you a little kudos for that insult. That's kind of next level. That's kind of a next level insult, honestly. You could talk a glass eye to sleep. That's old school. It's either super creative or it's super old school. Maybe it's some guy who lives out in the woods and it's the only saying that he knows. You know. I don't know. Maybe it's super old and I just don't know it because it's all old-timey. But Frank Dominguez first to the chat. I like saying who is first to the chat, and it's something I like to do. Learning to Keep Fish is coming in second, and AJ Aquarium. They got their notification bell turned on. You got to turn on the notification bell. Maybe you don't like the live show and you don't like to be here for the whole entire live show. I get it. But turn on the notification bell, because there are edited videos that come out and you won't know. And if you have the notification turned on and maybe you don't like the live show, you could just go click in here, hit the like, thumbs up button, which, I mean, I don't think it would hurt your finger or nothing. You just, and then go away. Because you're like, I don't want to watch this. But Alyssa Bentley's here, GLCLL. I'm guessing that's an acronym for something. I don't know. Cowdo Punk is here. Rocky's Rocky. Good to see ya. M. Howie9, what's up, my guy? Chad Krotz coming in. Bentley Pascal, who I was at Bentley's house yesterday. You guys, if you liked part 1 of Bentley's Fish Room Tour, I hope you're going to like part 2. That should be coming out on Saturday, I think. Thursday. Saturday? Saturday, I think. Yes. Something like that. I don't know. But there'll be more cool stuff coming out from Bentley. He also had, he put up a short video today making fun of Jimmy and I in a nice way. It was just him filming us film, which was pretty funny. We got Jake Hussey in the chat. Vexing Cat is here. What is up? Ricab Harris showing up, saying hola muchacho. Good to see you. Mr. Gillett is here. V-Stag is showing up. What's up, V-Stag? I met him at Aquatic Experience last year. Gone Mad is here with a super chat, 555. As you guys know, 555 is my favorite number. That's what that signifies. Thank you very much. He's saying, I have Hydra and need help. I got some of the canine dewormer. My research has left me confused on dosing. Thanks in advance. Let's answer this super chat real quick. I don't use the dewormer, personally. I really don't. I don't use the dog dewormer to get rid of Hydra. I just don't. It's a no-go for me. It's a big-time no-go. But one of the biggest deals that you got with the Hydra is that they're pretty stationary, so you can't actually get rid of them. Believe it or not, I kind of go manual. I get a really fine net, and I just kind of net all the ones that I can get, and then I just stop feeding for a while. More often than not, the planaria, which is a Hydra, is one of the planaria. They normally show up because of overfeeding. There's just an overabundance of food, and it gives them an opportunity to show up. Now, some people I have talked to in the past have said, well, you know, you're going to get planaria from something. I want to remind everybody out there that planaria is just one of those things that will show up regardless of what you do realistically. Yes, you can sort of toxify your tank with a bunch of chemicals, dog dewormer, this and that and the other thing. I wouldn't be the resource of how to do that because I just don't. I did it a couple of times in the past. I did not like the result. I do, on the other hand, very much enjoy the result of just not feeding for a while. I expect that you could probably get away with it in a fish-only tank, but as you guys know, I have shrimp tanks, and that's typically where I would be dosing, and I'm just not happy with the way things turn out when I utilize that. And if I don't feed for a week or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. The shrimp do fine. They don't mind. They just get a little more aggressive on the food, start cleaning up more, and guess what? Most of the Hydra will end up going away. And then just kind of dial back your feeding from there on out. And that, personally, is the easiest way to do because, in my opinion, because it's just not doing. You know, you just sort of like, you don't have to go out of your way to not feed. It's just, it's doing less. It's doing less work. So, you know, so I really wouldn't worry that much about Hydra. They don't normally take out that very many things from your aquarium. It's pretty rare. And typically, if you see planaria, they're eating shrimp or a shrimp gets eaten or something like that. It's realistically a really unhealthy shrimp that falls prey to that. So, you know, and sometimes people are like, well, maybe it was a shrimp that just molted. And yes, that could be a possibility. But if you're maintaining a good colony, the Hydra and planaria just cannot dent the colony enough to realistically cause that much of a problem. You know, there are a lot of people out there that have other advice. But, you know, from my long-term taking care of large colonies of shrimp in large tanks, I found that that's the easiest way to deal with them and the most effective way. So that's just kind of the thing as far as I'm concerned. The Hydra ones are weird because they don't, they're sort of like sea anemones in the way that they do move around a little bit, but it's not crazy how much they move around. If you get the little worm planaria and stuff like that, I will actually be making a little trap for those fairly soon and show you guys how to do that. It's a pretty simple operation. Does somebody hear water flowing sound? Something about that water flowing sound. What is the water flow? Oh, the water flowing sound from a pond. Sorry, checking up, catching up with the chat here. We have another super chat from Barbara Jackson saying congrats on 15K. We got a super chat from Joel Gillett saying congrats on 15R. He sent me a picture earlier of the 15K that he wrote out, but he had to write it backwards because he was taking a selfie of it, of the piece of paper, and the K came out looking like an R, so I was giving him a hard time. Oh, Mr. Gillett, I am glad to be your friend, my friend. Always a good time. It's, yeah, can't wait to get to New Zealand. I hope it happens early next year. That's the plan right now, is to try and get out there, film some stuff, do some New Zealand stuff, maybe spot some hobbits out in the trees, get weird on a mountain, maybe go on a bow hunting trip. I don't know, man. What happens in New Zealand when you're in New Zealand? There better be, if I come out to New Zealand, there better be some tea and some crumpets, you guys. I'm talking about, when I say biscuits, they call them biscuits, but biscuits overseas are cookies, right? I believe there are a lot of countries that refer to cookies as biscuits, and then they get super confused when they come to the States because they're like, you guys are eating biscuits and gravy for breakfast? What is wrong with you people? Because they're going, oh, biscuits, these guys are eating cookies with gravy on them. And you're like, no, man, biscuits in America are like spoon bread, you know? And so, definitely confusing. Kyra Witt is here, says, to definitely get weird on a mountain for sure. And I can't agree with you more on that. That's definitely something that, I really enjoy doing anyhow. And if I'm in New Zealand, I'm going to the top of one of those mountains. I don't know which one. I don't know well enough the geography to know which ones that are climbable or not. But I definitely, if I'm in New Zealand, I want to go to the top of something for sure. 100%. 100%. Let me check here. We've got a super chat from Gillett. Another one. Man, super generous guy. He's saying, the voices in my head are quieter if this stream is on. Which I guess makes sense, because I'd be yelling about stuff, and then you can't hear the voices in your head as much. Kevin Keener is here, and speaking of Kevin Keener, I hope he's ready for the 75, because it's going to be empty very, very soon. As you guys know, we recently got in a new 120-gallon aquarium, and the reef and the 70. So the 75's coming down, a 120's going in. The reef is moving. There are a lot of things moving around in the fish room. That stuff is going to be happening. So prepare yourself for an onslaught of videos from the moving around in the fish room and that stuff. So I would pay attention for that stuff coming up, and brace yourselves, you guys. There's gonna be a lot of me sawing wood and making stands and stuff like that. I'm gonna put some serious effort into being able to explain building some stands and stuff like that for you guys coming up, because I went and looked up some of my old stand building videos, and I'm like, man, this guy's a disaster. This guy's a disaster. But hopefully you guys liked the reactor video over the weekend. Hopefully that's like a little bit of a step up that you guys were able to check out, and maybe it's something you can make on your own or not. Let me know. Let me know in the comments or whatever if that video was stupid, if maybe there's something I need to build that you guys are confused about, and I could help and make you a video so you could check that out. We have a $5 super chat from Mortal Slayer saying 15K is great. Can't wait to see the real Fish Talk guys in September. Mortal Slayer, I can't wait to see you either. I can't wait till we get to come out to the aquatic experience. I imagine meeting everybody again, meeting all the fans and stuff. That's the thing that gets me every time I go out to those conventions and stuff. I meet fans. It is so awesome. I love doing that. It's great. Chef Hannibal is here asking, at Corvus, I'm looking to harvest some local tank decor. Are there any aquarium-safe wood/trees you would recommend for my tank? I'm in Wisconsin. Thanks. Yeah, there are a lot of... I don't know what's going on with that AC unit behind me. What's it doing? Ah! Sorry about that. Got distracted by the AC unit making a weird noise. But yes, there is a lot of wood out there and stuff that you'd be able to find that you could what's the word I'm looking for here? Yes, there's a lot of wood out there that you can find. The easiest way to explain what wood you're looking for is you are looking for wood that is very slow growing. Okay, so you're looking for anything that's really dense, slow growing. The easy way to kind of locate that stuff is go up to bluffs, go to dry, arid areas, go to rocky terrain. If you're down in a swamp, you ain't gonna find much that's gonna be worthwhile. There is some stuff that you can get out of swamps, but I would implore anybody out there to just take it easy on that, because it is a big process, because you can't use the top of the tree, you have to use the roots of the tree. So it can be, oh my, it is definitely going to be an oh my situation to dig it out of the ground or any of that kind of stuff. You'd be way beyond the scope of work that people were looking into. So if you go up onto bluffs, wind-blown areas, stuff like that, you're looking for trees that grow real small and slowly. That's essentially the stuff you're looking for, and that would be the best way to describe it. In Wisconsin, I have to look up what you would have to look up, or I would have to look up what trees are in Wisconsin, and I'm not 100% familiar with that much of the environment in Wisconsin. So there are some things out here that I could recommend, like madrona trees grow out here. Not a lot, but there definitely are. There are quite a few madrona trees growing out here, and you can oftentimes find just branches that have blown off and stuff like that down below madrona trees. Those work fantastically well. They're kind of like the cousin to the manzanita. Hold on a second, I gotta fix this. Ah. As I mentioned, this chair is completely broken, and I still don't have any money to get a new chair. I'll probably go to some garage sales or something and see if I can't find a new office chair out there. This thing is like... this thing is totally broken. But the... So there is a lot of trees and stuff like out there that you can find, and a lot of wood out there that you can use, but, you know, like in the area here, like I said, you'd be looking for the madronas and stuff, but I have to like go up to find stuff that grows slowly, and you know, because down low where I'm at, everything is just kind of moist and wet and rains all the time and stuff like that, so it's a lot of quick growing stuff around here, whereas, you know, birch, you can't really use the top, the tree part that comes up out of the ground into the sky, but you can use the root ball for like a birch tree. But last time we did that was next level, a lot of work. And a lot of chainsaws and craziness and that kind of stuff. There was certainly, what's the word I'm looking for here? There was a lot of chainsaws, a lot of craziness, pressure washing, and realistically, when I got down to it, we realized like how much work we'd put into it. I could have easily gone to manzanitaburlworks.com and called up, I can never remember the guy's name, Tom or Bob or something like that. The guy that runs it, you have to call him to order your wood, but totally worthwhile in my opinion, and I could have easily gotten, you know, $100 box of wood from him that would have easily done the same thing. So, you know, I think that there's a lot of stuff out there worth going to get to harvest and things, but I realistically think a lot of that boils down to hardscape stuff. So when you start getting into the rocks and things like, oh, and speak of the devil. Hold on. Speaking of hardscape, you guys. I left the plastic on it. You can still see the sticker. I got a chunk of Sierra stone from the aquarium co-op. It comes like, they put this plastic on it just so that it's not a chaotic mess, because it does get kind of dinged up and that kind of stuff. So you can see it does get like beat up in the shipping and stuff a little bit. But they put this cool, they plastic wrap it, basically, because it's in a box full of rocks and they're just clamoring around together. So if this is the kind of stuff, like rocks are something that I go and get. They are very heavy. Yes, it's labor intensive and stuff like that, but if you start to think about it, like a piece of Sierra stone like this can be very expensive. Hey, what are you doing? Quit barking. Sometimes you gotta tell the dog it's for real. Quit barking, right? But we got this, I got this piece, and, you know, rock can become very expensive because it's by the pound. I've bought a lot of it from stores, and my credit card / debit card / wallet, whatever you want to call it, can still feel the pain of purchasing stone. But the co-op has these boxes now. They're doing the fits it ships boxes. I would definitely do the fits it ships boxes from those guys if you are looking for some Sierra stone like this, or go out in the wild and get it. This is one of the things that I recommend people to go out in the wild and get. Yes, it's very heavy. Yes, it's very much a problem to carry it back for your back and stuff like that. I would certainly get a wheelbarrow or something like that you can utilize, because you might have to go pretty far from the vehicle. You know, when we were down in Nevada, we went and got those moon rocks with Chris Lucup. I think we even told you guys like where the location was. If you guys want to go out and get your own, I think that's kind of proof in the pudding right there, is that, like, you know, I realistically will go get rocks because they are expensive, but they don't break down also. So it's something that I'll have for a really long time. Like, I have a bunch of greenstone from actually going out and getting the greenstone itself and bringing it back. I still have it. I still am holding on to it because even if I set it outside, it's not going to go bad. Even though I did set a tote of reef rock outside that somebody stole. I forgot to mention that. I actually just reminded me that I had a big tote of old dead coral bodies and stuff like that. It was all reef stuff, and somebody took it. I still don't know who. I told Potato Bro to like look through it one weekend that he was here, and then like, I don't know, 5 days later or something, I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, there's just an empty spot where that tote was sitting, and I was like, oh. Well, and Potato Bro was coming back the next weekend, so I was like, oh, I'll just ask him when he's back. And he was like, no, I didn't even take anything of that. Did you move it? And I was like, no, someone else moved it to their house or something. I don't know. But it wasn't that big of a deal. I was probably going to donate it anyhow to probably Kevin or whoever needs some coral rock or whatever. You know, I don't know. But Patrick's Aquatics here with a super chat, a $5 super chat, saying your subscriber count is now equal to the capacity of the Smoothie King Center. I don't know. What's a Smoothie King Center? What's a Smoothie King Center? King Center. Smoothie King Center is a multi-purpose indoor arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's located in the city's central business district, adjacent to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Well, their capacity is 17,791. So we're still short, you guys. We need about 3,000 more subscribers to pass up the Smoothie King Center. Oh, drag. You guys, we've come up short. We've come up short in the competition with the Smoothie King Center. Oh, no. Who's playing there? Oh, upcoming event. Saturday, February 16th. Whoa. So the next upcoming event is Fleetwood Mac, Aubrey and the Three Migos tour. J. Cole. I don't know. I don't know what the other ones. I know what Fleetwood Mac is, but that's all the way in February. February, right? But yeah, we're getting close. We're still 3,000 short though to pass them up. Mortal Slayer with the $2 chat for the chair fund. Well, thanks. Thanks, a little tip in the jar for the chair fund. Thanks, bros. All right, well, this piece of Sierra Stone, I'm very excited to do something with it. I hope you guys are too. I'm very excited. Ed's Fish just showed up saying I like the circle trees. I like that tree myself. That's for a friend of mine who already put a deposit down on it. So I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. Sounds like I was swearing, but I wasn't. Snowflake 3981 with a $10 super chat saying, how can I reduce nitrates in a 50-gallon freshwater tank with blood parrots and 2 blood mouths? Pulled 7-inch common pleco, and it's helped, but still higher than I'd like, doing 30% water changes weekly. Okay, Snowflake, so the first thing I would do here is I would certainly look into possibly doing a little bit bigger water changes. The blood parrots should be pretty stable. I would just go 50%, maybe 60%. But the biggest thing that it will always knock down your nitrates are plants, you guys. Plants are always are going to be taking up nitrates. That's their nitrogen, man. That's the nitrogen that they're taking in, you know, to grow. It's the building block of plants, man. They're going to eat it up because that's what they do, and they just get done. You know what I'm saying? Like that, they just get after it. That's what plants do. They'll uptake it. So I would seriously look into something like water lettuce, or if you want a floating plant. But the biggest, the best plant that I know of that is fantastic to go with blood parrots would be Bulbitis. I don't have any pictures at the ready that I could get into showing you what Bulbitis looks like, but it is kind of a distant cousin of Anubias, basically. It grows pretty slowly. It's like a fern. It's like if a fern and an Anubias had a baby, you'd end up with Bulbitis. So it's kind of slow growing. The blood parrots won't eat it. It won't disturb them or anything like that, but it will definitely pick up the nitrates and pull them out of the water column for you. But any kind of plants are going to help you out, knock those nitrates down. Nitrates typically aren't that big of an issue for fish, though, so I would certainly take that with a grain of salt. Like nitrates don't you have to get really high to really affect fish. I think it's something in the range of like 240 parts per million or something crazy like that. You know, when I'm testing, I test to get to 40. I want to be right around in 40, so I have enough food for my plants and that kind of stuff. So the nitrates shouldn't be affecting them that much. Nitrites, on the other hand, is a big-time problem. If you got that going on, you would definitely want to mitigate that and figure out what's going on with your filtration, because if you got nitrites showing up, if you have nitrites showing up, it's definitely going to be a problem. That's for sure. So that means there's something wrong with your filtration. But I would certainly take that into consideration, that a little bit of nitrates isn't that bad for your fish at all. I mean, if you're 40 to 80, it's not really that big of a deal. You start getting over 80. Then it's time to kind of do a water change. Water change is going to be the best way to mitigate the nitrates for sure. that's why we want to cycle. We definitely want to cycle. What is this? What's wrong with my finger? Yep. Okay, that was weird. But that's why we want to cycle, because nitrates aren't that toxic to fish. So, and then you can do a water change if you want to continue just having just a hardscape or anything like that. But I would definitely add some fast-growing plants, and it will knock that out of the park for sure. Simon White says eroded rocks are the best. I mean, I don't know if they're the best. That's an opinion. I like the scraggly rocks. That's for sure. Somebody earlier was asking dragonstone is bad for shrimp. I've got a 240-gallon tank full of dragonstone that has a ton of shrimp in it. So I would say, and for years and years I've had dragonstone with shrimp. It has never been an issue. Whether it be crystal shrimp, Reely shrimp, cherry shrimp, Sulawesi's, whatever. I've never had problems with dragonstone and shrimp. It has not been a problem. Oh my gosh, we got some big old super chats here coming in, but I want to address Aqua Freedom, the $5 super chat, just throwing it in the tip jar. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys all coming out too. It's a lovely Monday out there. It would be fun to go out and try and, I don't know, play some kind of sports ball or something. That would be pretty good, but I'd probably die of heat stroke, so it's probably best if I just keep working on my projects and, you know, get out there in the garden, do stuff like that. That'd probably be better, huh? Cossie Bear is asking, just changed my substrate to Fluval Stratum. Is it safe to put my beta back while the water is still cloudy? Cossie Bear, yes, I would. Hopefully you have a cycled filter that you put back on there. Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Anything that's a little bit cloudy from the Fluval Stratum shouldn't be a problem. But bear in mind that Stratum will release a little bit of ammonia over time. It's just part of the process of how it's made, that it will have ammonia in it. So you do want to monitor that. If you have a new aquarium set up with it, I would just be monitoring it and see what's going on, or just, you know, stick with some water changes and make sure that you're following up on them. But the cloudiness it should not be a big deal. Brianna Lighter says, if you sold prints of your fish artwork, a ton of us would probably buy them. There's a lot of websites that you just have to scan in, upload the image, and it does all the work of printing and shipping. Yes, that's true, but I haven't seen a printing shipping place that does a good job of them. I've not seen that. I've not seen, and that doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm just saying that I have not encountered one that does a good job of actually printing one out and shipping it out and it being good quality, that I could tell. You know, I have shirts and stuff like that on Teespring and things that you guys can order on there if you like. But, you know, and at some point in time, I'll probably do some paintings that you guys will be able to get some prints from. But I did have a plan that you guys would have been able to be in on that, but that dude kind of just dropped off the map doing whatever he's doing. So that has kind of hit the back burner in the meantime because, you know, I'm not a shipping guy. You know, I really just don't have the time to be doing a bunch of shipping. And it sounds rude and selfish or whatever, but it just takes a long time to get that stuff shipped and everything. It just isn't. I wish it was an easy thing to get done and only took like 2 minutes or something. If it did, then I would happily do it. But, you know, packing the stuff, getting everything together, going to the post office, blah, 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 all that stuff. I mean, even if I got something that, like, if I had the postage meter and all that stuff here, it still takes quite a while to get all that stuff together. And it just... It's not that it ruins my day, it's that it takes a ton of time out of my day. So it's like, I would have to look at it this way, like, okay, maybe no YouTube videos because I've got to ship today. You know, and I don't think that that's a great trade-off, necessarily. Like, realistically. Steve Horton wants the welder glasses painting. It's back there on the ground, I think. It's somewhere. It's still here. No one bought it. No one has bought it yet. They probably don't want to buy it because it's an outrageous price. Outrageous. Outrageous price. Nathaniel John says, I work in shipping and can confirm it is a time-consuming process. Yes, it very much is. And, you know, I think, you know, companies like Amazon and stuff like that have spoiled people to the point where it's like you get the same day, you get stuff like same day shipped out. And I'll admit it, man. If somebody's like, dude, it's going to be a week and a half before you ship it out, I would immediately think like, yeah, I don't know if I want to order that. That's going to be a long time. So I'm not saying that I don't fall prey to that thought, because I have the same one where it's like, well, I don't want to wait a long time for you to ship it out. Maybe I'll just get it from someone else. Yeah, so I don't know. I just getting into the shipping thing is just a bit much, that's for sure. Let's see here. We've got a $12.40 super chat from the Zombie Drummer, my guy. Says, aquaponics tray on my blood parrot tank keeps me from doing weekly water changes to once every 2 to 3 weeks with pothos, spider plants, and arrowhead plants, which, that is awesome. Something like that I would definitely recommend for a, you know, for a essentially maintenance-free kind of situation. You know, spider plants grow awesomely quick. Pothos does really well in aquaponics, and arrowhead plants, which I've had mixed results with arrowhead plants in the aquaponics and stuff. I've had them work out quite well. I've had them, for whatever reason, just randomly die off. And but the pothos and spider plant, I would definitely go with those in an overhead little aquaponic thing. You know, you could even make a little aquaponic thing out of a AquaClear hang-on back filter, and that would probably handle a ton of that nitrate uptake for you. Which, it's great advice. Thanks, Zombie Drummer. So we can get a super chat and great advice on the super chat. Mr. Sunmade here with the $15 super chat, going strong for the 15,000 subscribers, says, congratulations on 15K based on the quantity and quality of what you do, and say on YouTube your shubs should be about 15 million. I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I would love to have 15 million subscribers. Who wouldn't? You know, who wouldn't want to have a huge platform of talking to people and stuff like that? It would be dope. And, you know, like, I think that would be a lot of fun. I think I'm a person that would be responsible enough to be in that position too. I think I would be responsible enough to be in that position. I think, for sure. As far as I know, I don't think I would be abusing it or any of that kind of stuff. I think definitely I would hire a bunch of people to help out and do stuff like that. One of the things I'm slightly jealous of is like Philip DeFranco, doing awesome work, by the way. He has like a team of like 50 people to help like make videos and research stuff and everything like that. And that makes me jealous, is like have a big team like that to work on stuff. Like, that would be amazing. That would be awesomely amazing to have a staff and stuff to be able to help out and build things and stuff. You know, it's one of those things, like if I watch some of the old Takahashi Amano videos, that's the one thing that stands out to me too. Like, Amano was a genius and everything, but I don't think, like, you know, I don't think he was Einstein genius or anything like that. I don't think he invented he didn't like invent fish tanks or something, you know what I mean? So, but the thing I was always jealous of him was he got to work on these really big projects, and he had this really great team working for him. That was the thing that always was like, oh man, like, I would love to have a team and all of that stuff to work with, you know what I mean? Like, they would just back up a truck and drop off the plants and stuff, and they would just get to work on things. And that was one of the big things that really got me, you know, if I was watching something like that. So I would love to be at 15 million. That would be awesome. James Wells, $2.99 super chat, saying $1 gallon a sale on now. What size for the 120 gallon sump? Personally, if I was setting up a 120 and putting a new sump on it that I didn't have already, and I was going to go to the $1 a gallon sale, I would probably get a 55. That's probably what I would get to build the sump out of. You know, it only being like 55 bucks, that's about as cheap as you can get for water volume. You know, in exchange for that kind of water volume, you basically want your sump to be like half of the size of the aquarium, essentially. I've just found, and that's not necessarily the math on the water volume or anything like that. There's just enough space to work in. You know, if you had a 120, you'd want like a 60 gallon, but that's a weird specialty tank. Whereas a 55, hey, you can get that for pretty cheap at the $1 a gallon sale. Slap that thing in there, put the dividers in it and stuff like that, and not be worried about it, because it's not a ton of invested money. Of which the $1 a gallon sale feels like the $1 a gallon sale is like always going on. MB Golf Gold. I'm an idiot. That's a hard one to read, though. MB Gold F. And I don't know where the R stands for, but a $20 super chat saying, hello, I have a 10-gallon planted tank with an Eheim Liberty 130 hang-on back mounted on the back. I have a lot of mulm, debris accumulation on the plants and substrate. The input does not seem to collect it. Any tips, please? Thanks a lot. All right, if you are encountering this problem with a 10-gallon like that, now the easiest thing to do would be to directionally increase flow around the tank. So a small power head or something like that will come in really handy. I think, like, let me see if I can find one here. Oh, I gotta sign in, really? Pushing all these buttons for my password. Oh. Here we go. Let's see. This one is too big. We want this little one right here. All right. Hydor Coralia circulation pumps, for the price, are by far my favorite power head to move water around a tank. They have a magnet on the back with the suction cups on it too, so it's a double whammy. There's the link to it in the chat. You can grab that. Dark and Chaos says the $1 a gallon sale doesn't include the 55. Those are 50% off. Then I would go for a 40-gallon breeder. Then, if cost is the big deal, I don't know how much the 55 is half off. Let me see. How much is that thing? 55-gallon fish tank. 55-gallon fish tank. Aquaculture aquarium starter kit with LED. Well, that's $179. Fish tank, eBay, my aquarium. Oh, PetSmart. Here we go. Just the tank only. I want the tank only, not a stand. What? Don't they have this stuff like online? These guys too busy? Man. What is it? 60-gallon is $269. I don't know. That comes with a stand. I don't know. That's a disaster. No, I don't know. I guess the 55 is probably $80 or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I remember the 20 long is not. I remember that the 20 long is not $1 a gallon. I think that one's only half price. John Willis says the 55-gallon is $65. The 40 breeder is $50. Yeah, so at $65, I would just go with the 55-gallon. It just, I guess it's $10 extra. I would just go for it, unless you can find something on Craigslist. But let's get back to the the detritus and mulm kicking around. With that small power head that I linked in the chat there, that will be enough to just circulate mulm around. Now here's the trick: leave that thing off because you got a 10-gallon tank, so you don't have to have this on all the time. But I would leave that thing off and turn it on at night, so you don't have to watch all that stuff floating around during the daytime, and you can turn it off. But I would, you know, you could probably leave it on 24 hours. It would probably blow most of it away, allow the filter to pick it up, and the filter floss will definitely pick it up. I would find something that is going to help you change the filter floss pretty rapidly. I can't remember if the Eheim uses inserts or anything like that. Let me see. I'm going to look it up here and see if I can remember. Yeah, it takes those little inserts. So what I would do is I would find a replica of that sponge that goes in there so that I wouldn't have to buy a bunch of them. But that'd be the one issue that you may or may have. Whatever the fine filter media is into that, you could also even do like a little sponge over the intake, and that'll probably grab a lot of that mulm and everything. But just increase some flow around there with the power head, and it'll be pretty simple to do that. And on water changes, you can get a Python or something that will allow you to gravel vac a lot of that stuff up. But in a 10-gallon, it's kind of difficult to do because of how small of an aquarium it is to really work your way through all that. You know, Daddy Tanky is here. So hopefully that answers the question for you. Daddy Tanky here saying, I'm headed to Tiger Tail Beach to look for dwarf seahorses before sunset. All right. Nice. I like that. Meat Man with a $4.99 super chat saying, first super chat, it's not much, but you have helped me so much. I love the content. Just keep doing you. And then he quickly followed it up with a thumbs up, and he said something else down here. 15K should be 150K. All right. I would love to be at 150,000 subscribers, and it feels disingenuous a little bit. It feels like a little bit weird, but it really comes down to you guys sharing it out at this point. If you guys share it out, it's going to go a long, long way to growing our community here, to getting more subscribers in, to get the community larger. So we do this show. It gives people a space to come on, ask questions, talk to each other, and that kind of stuff. If you guys share it out and put it out there, I've heard a lot of people over the years now are like, I don't really want to share it out because people I know probably won't like it. But then again, if you're somebody that likes it, that means there's probably other people that like it. It seems doubtful to me that there's only 126 people in the world that like this show. 126 people right now watching. It should, if you guys are sharing it out, hitting the like button and all that kind of stuff, will definitely help us grow. Grab a video that you like of you know, from 5 months ago, 4 months ago, or something like that, and share that out and just let people know, hey, here's this weird guy. He comes on a lot. I like him. My wife says he should be on the radio. He's got that radio voice and that radio face. And but you do get to watch a little bit of a video segment and stuff that he shoots. And also he answers a lot of questions and this and that and tries to help people out. And, you know, at Fishkeeping Jamaica, there are at least 120 people talking and asking questions. Take a number and stand in line. What? What's the deal? Huh. What is going on? Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. Fishkeeping Jamaica says only super chats are read, and I am broke. That is not the case. I don't only read super chats, but there are a lot of people in chat, and sometimes stuff gets missed. It's not on purpose, and I'm certainly not skipping over anybody's name. So yeah, honestly, there are a lot of people in chat chatting. I'm also controlling the show. I'm also talking the show, and I'm also trying to read and do all the stuff. So my apologies if we don't get to your question or anything like that. There are easy ways to get a hold of me if you don't get grabbed. You know, if your question doesn't get grabbed in the chat. And one of those ways is you can email me, joel@darkstararts.com. You can email me there. That's free. You can also leave a comment later on this video. Once it's uploaded, you can always leave a comment instead of just being in the chat. All good stuff. We have a bigger and bigger community here as things go on. We also have a lot of people here that can hopefully answer some of the questions that pop up in the chat. And those, so, you know, like I said, I'm not singling out anybody, no, this, that, or the other thing. It's not only super chats that I answer. I answer a lot of questions out of the chat, and I think people that have been here a long time, you know, a lot of the mainstay people have known that for sure. Jennifer MWB says, I have had questions answered without giving money for super chats. That is a false accusation. Yes, I don't ignore people just because they don't super chat. There happens to be more super chats than normal today because we had hit the 15,000 subscriber benchmark. So a lot of people have thrown in super chats for the benchmark today, and very much thank you to everybody. It's a little bit higher than normal. There's more super chats than normal. You know, and sometimes it just happens what it is. As I mentioned earlier, you could always email me and stuff like that. Jordan Fisher says, pretty cool that Corey goes back after and answers most of the questions that were missed. Do you do that? More often than not. I do not have a perfect track record, but I do often go back. I do often go back and answer most of the questions that I can. Like I said, I don't have a perfect track record. I'm definitely not claiming that, but I do often go back and answer a lot of questions. That's for sure. Let's see. Tiniest Doolittle says, hi, how are you doing? Recent subscriber, love the videos. It's now just midnight in the UK, but anyway, how tall should I let the new shoots of Jungle Val grow before I chop it off of the mother? Oh, okay. So if you have some offshoot plants that have come out, if they've, you know, with Valsneria, actually, once it's established about 4 inches, stuff like that, you can pluck it off and move it to somewhere else. It definitely is that is a very, very durable plant and can do quite a bit. Let's see here. Jennifer MWB saying, what do you think is the best way to get rid of a serious case of blue-green algae and cyanobacteria? Went on vacation, and when I came home a week later, my tank was covered in it. So this would be a question that spans both freshwater and saltwater. The easiest way to do it would be water changes. Water changes. Now, it depends on your water. Now, in my reef tank, it is almost always an indication that I have not been paying attention to my filters. I pre-filter my water before I make my salt water. It almost always is, it means there's something in my water change and top off water. And it means that I probably haven't been paying attention to my filters as well as I could. So that means I got to change the filters out. And that would be the main thing. Now, that does parallel into your freshwater tank. So now you're going to have to go grab yourself. My shoe fell off. You're going to have to go grab yourself a good water test kit and find out what's really high. I would, the first thing that I would do is definitely water changes. I know a lot of people out there use erythromycin. They use treatments and stuff like that. And you certainly can use erythromycin. I've done it before. It does work. The only problem is that I find that, you know, typically with So if you use like antibiotic, erythromycin and stuff, it does work. But you haven't really solved what the problem was, or at least figured out what the problem was, so that you could be proactive ahead of time in the future. And I would think, I would think that that would be the main thing that that I would take into consideration, is that you haven't gotten proactive to take the thing ahead of time. All right, well, we're an hour in. It is time to go to the video. Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know what that's all about. Okay, anyhow, we got to grab the video. Oh, maybe we should start at the beginning of the video. Come on now. XSplit doing your thing, being weird. Okay, so we do have some new introductions to the... This is a 150-gallon shrimp tank that I pretty regularly am messing around with on this show, especially of late. As you guys know, I have acquired a bunch of species of plants and stuff that I really like. It is... What is... I get bit by a bug? I haven't been getting bit by bugs. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my elbow here, but I got bit by another bug. Now, anyhow, as you guys know, I acquired a bunch of species of plants I've been looking around for. It happened to come all in a bunch, and from a bunch of other people. As a matter of fact, I got some of them from Bentley, some of them from another local guy, who I'm not gonna spoil that guy's anonymity. He would probably start a YouTube channel if he wanted people to know who he was. So I got some from a local guy. And the funny thing is that he had 7 species of plants I was looking for. So I went and picked those all up. Now, one of the big things that I've been consistently trying to hammer on to people is that if you get a new plant, in the mail... Oh no, where's my whiteboard? Oh man, you guys, I gotta add the whiteboard. Here it is. There we go. Yeah, I know. What is this thing doing? What color should we go for on the whiteboard? And bright red? Let's go bright red today. All right, yeah. Why is it? Okay. Oh man, thin. We need. Okay, clear the whiteboard. There we go. All right. So, whoa, excuse me. But the guy I got the plants from, and one thing I've been hammering on to people is a reminder that even if you're me, okay, even if you're me that has set up a ton of tanks, and done a ton of tanks, and done them over and over again, if you get a new plant and you're going to introduce it somewhere, so this plant right here, I picked this up from Bentley 2 weeks ago. Now this is a different type of Pogostemon. This is Pogostemon Heidelberg that's right here. I threw a weight on it. I don't know what I'm drawing here. Hold on. All right. So this plant, I threw a weight on it, and I've just let it be floating around in there. And you guys will see right now, I'm going to pull it out, and it has sent down a nice amount of roots. Even though it was a complete trim, you know, it was just the top that was trimmed off, it has sent down some roots, which means it's nicely adapting to the water. The old leaves that were adapted to a different water column have died off and basically are like falling away and stuff like that, but it's sending on roots. It's been converted basically to my water without assuming that it's going to be planted yet, which I find is the best way to convert plants to a new water system, to a new tank, anything like that. It is the best way to do it. In today's... Whoa, hold on. Wait, what happened to my... Here's my thing. So in today's video, we're going to be planting 2 plants here This one right here, that's Pogostemon of a different varietal. This is the Pogostemon erectus, which actually stays about 8 inches, has a pretty wide variety of environments, pretty easy to grow, doesn't need a ton of light. Doesn't grow super tall, though, which is great, because the Pogostemon stellatus octopus that's up here, you guys, grows super tall, and I've had about enough of that. I don't need any more super tall growing plants in here in the meantime. But the Pogostemon erectus doesn't grow super tall. It will kind of grow this kind of tight cluster, and it is a pretty cool plant that I've definitely been looking around to get like a real chunk of it. Okay, you know, get a real little bit of it so that I'd be able to add this in. I as you guys know, it pretty much is my goal to somehow get every single plant into my fish room, and I mean like every plant. I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm going to need a giant fish room because I need millions and millions of plants, right? I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with plants. I'm sorry, you guys. It's kind of funny. That's why Bentley and I have a good time hanging out, because he's obsessed too. And he knows when he starts ranting about a specific plant or something like that, that it's fallen on the right ears. You know what I mean? I'll be listening. I'll be listening for sure. Oh, Foster's Fish. Does it say right click to view the instructions? Did that actually show up on the screen? That is great. Thanks, XSplit. I wonder if it actually was, if it showed up on the screen or not. That's hilarious. But you always want to convert your plants to your new water, allow them to root down, and then now I'm, as you guys can see, I'm starting to make space. I've had to pull a couple of crypts out. That happens to be a Wendetii that is right there. That is a baby plant from that big mother plant that's right back there. Behind it, over here, is actually some Crypt Lutea that is back there. And over here, this is some of the Colorata that we planted last week. And all this Bucephalandra that's back here is getting moved out of the way. I'm most likely going to relocate the Bucephalandra, even though it's super fun. Even though it's super fun to grow Bucephalandra and everything, I think it's great, and I love to look at it and everything. But I'm not having a good time with it being at the front of the tank. So I think I am going to build a little floating platform for it to just kind of be in the back, just get that nice ambient light on it and allow it to grow, you know, in its own kind of spot, and not be having it right in the front. It does grow pretty slowly, and I definitely find it much more entertaining to me to have slow growing plants like up and out of the way, to allow them to just kind of grow super slowly and do a thing. Bentley says, I think one of Joel's rarest plants he got yesterday from me. Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't have a ton of stuff that's like super rare. It's just a matter of like collecting it over time, and this has just been over the last year, because as you guys know, all of my plants died that I was bringing here from my old fish room. It was not a great time. Didn't have a great time moving from West Seattle down here to Tacoma. Bentley Pascal says the Cryptocrine Nuri, which I picked up one of those yesterday from Bentley, and he's spoiling it for everybody. He's giving you the spoiler alert, you know? He didn't even say spoiler alert. He just typed it into the chat so everyone would know. But, yes, I definitely did pick up a little Crypt Nuri from Bentley yesterday, and we'll be growing some of that over the next little time here. Probably be messing with that after probably a week or so, something like that. Let's see here. Steve Horton says, oh my god, all of this talk of green tanks after vacay, and I'm leaving at the end of the week for Delaware for a week. Steve, shouldn't be a big deal. I did some video a little while ago in regards to going on vacation and stuff. Just remember to prep ahead of time. Make sure that your water level, do your big water change before you leave. Make sure your water levels are all topped off and all that kind of stuff. Make sure that your light timers are all working. And if you can, it's best to hire a house sitter or something like that. It really is important to have somebody around that knows what's going on. One of the biggest YouTube fish keepers in the world recently just made a ton of money off of his fish dying and stuff while he was out of town and didn't hire a house sitter. So, I don't know. Seems weird to me. While I was gone, I hired a house sitter. It cost me $40 a day to have somebody here to take the dogs out, check the fish, make sure all the stuff was going on. Pretty minimal cost as far as I'm concerned. And nothing died, nothing flooded, nothing crazy happened. I do have people lined up that can come by and help out with things if something were to go wrong. And yeah, so if you can hire a house sitter, that would be my best advice. Have somebody swing by and check things and make sure that stuff's going legit. If you think about it, if it's $40, you know, let's say you have somebody that's going to stop by twice a day, like maybe they come over in the morning and it's maybe a half an hour. You basically just be paying somebody $20 an hour and have them come by in the afternoon, and you'd be paying somebody basically $20 an hour for them to drive over, check out what's going on, see what's happening, and check on everything, make sure that the stuff is there. Yeah, you might have to show them how to do it, but most likely if you're part of a local fish club or something like that, you could find somebody who could do that for you. And you could start networking. Maybe you network on Facebook or something like that. You can find a local person that can help out, and you can write down some instructions and things. As Kira Witt is saying, just leave instructions for the house sitter in case of bad cell service. She just had that problem. Yes, be sure to write that stuff down. Be sure to write that stuff down if you can, and you know, just write it down at length so that people could, you know, whoever you have doing your house sitting and whatnot, you could they'll be able to reference it and be able to see what's going on. I have a big whiteboard in my fish room where I wrote down most of the notes that were there, you know. So like when I was in Germany, Vicky did a lot of that stuff for me, so I didn't have to write crazy like, you know, explicit instructions because it was Vicky Toria, but we did have to write them down when I was out of town. One of the last times I was out of town. I've been out of town a lot. Foster's Fish here saying so much pogo, yo. That's right. James Wells says treating symptoms, not the cause. Always a good point. Always a good point. Try to treat the cause of the problems and not just the symptoms and knocking them back, you know. Phoenix Gaming is here. Says I was your 14,997th sub. Well, thank you very much. Super appreciate it. I mean, I really do. I just do. I just appreciate it. Muchas gracias. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. All right. So, okay. Now, the other plant that we have going in is, oh gosh, brain fart. I gotta look up my notes here real quick. What? What is the deal? So I've got a purple aflame sword plant that's going in, which is weird because what is it? I know Bentley's in the chat. What is it? The purple? Gosh, having a brain fart right in the middle of a live stream here. Hold on a minute. Oh, there it is. The Aflame Purple Night. That's what it was. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. It's the Aflame Purple Night. It's a plant that is not very, it's not very common. If you do find it, it actually is more often than not coming from a tissue culture. Most people find it not the cool way that I did, which is a grown plant. It is a Echinodorus species. But one of the cool things about this sword plant is that it doesn't grow gigantic like other sword plants. It is really good. Real thing for you fish tanks. Do you talk crap about others to make you feel better about yourself? Unsubbed. Oh. Okay. Well, sorry. Sorry that you unsubscribed. Sorry, man. Do I talk badly about other people? Did I? Was I talking badly about other people? I don't know. Anyhow, one of the cool things about this flame sword is that it doesn't grow super large like the other sword plants out there that more often than not will occupy a gigantic space. These grow really small, but they are difficult to come across because they do have some slight things to, you know, you really got to take care of them, I guess, would be the easiest way to put it. You do have to take care of them, and normally you can't find them. You can't find them as a live plant. You can only normally find them as a tissue culture, and I think I've talked to you guys in the past about adapting tissue cultures to for an aquarium, right? I've always had difficulty doing that. It never really worked out that well for me, and I've kind of walked away from it because it costs a lot of money, right, to get the tissue plants or to get the tissue cultures here, and then buy them. Especially if you even go to a big box store, you're kind of looking at, you know, $12 to $22 for a little pot of stuff. Sometimes I see things on sale for like $6.99, $5.99, but pretty rare. And then I just have limited results personally. That doesn't mean that other people aren't having good results. It just means it's an Achilles heel for me to deal with the tissue cultures. So I find it best to find stuff that has been growing in the area. If I can find it from somebody that is local and whatnot, you know, that would be the best thing as far as I'm concerned. Jennifer Bentley Pascal says Flamingo and Pink Panther are super similar, but very cool. If you have to CO2, keep that in mind. Oh yeah, you have to have CO2. So that's one of those things with this flame sword, the Purple Knight. A flame sword is you have to have CO2 for this plant. It just won't. It just won't get there. It just won't be doing very well. Uh-oh, Gillets is on. What's the deal? It's like the attack hour right now. Who else is attacking? Oh. Yeah, I guess, you know, I don't know. People get cranky into the chat. It's been really hot out, and people get cranky, right? People get cranky and things, and they start getting upset, and then they come online and start venting, my bros. It just happens sometimes. Now, the Purple Flame Sword, I really wasn't even, like, going out of my way to find this one. It just turns out that Bentley had one, and we ended up making a trade. We ended up trading some stuff, which worked out pretty well, I think, because I ended up with that flame sword. It's taken a really long time. It's taken a really long time for them to for that one to adapt well enough that I considered planting it, which was today. Today was the time that it was like, you know what, this thing has enough roots. It's putting out new leaves. Its old leaves are finally starting to die off. And it's actually starting to send out some mother roots now, which means, as you guys know, with crypts, it does kind of the same thing where it really starts to spread out and starts to get these really big roots. What that means is that it's actually started building up enough that it is. It's basically getting ready to spread, and it's gonna, you know, it's gonna spread its wings and fly, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And that means that it's really time to plant, and I'm happy to say that I can finally plant it today, which is why I had to move some stuff around. The Bucephalandras really had to move, and you know, one of these crypts had to come out, which, as you guys know, I've got about 100 million crypts, so I don't feel that bad about getting them out of there a little bit. Let's see. Just Bob is here asking. Okay, that's the one I was thinking of. Oh, I don't know. Let's see here. Got to read the chat a little bit to try and catch up. Mortal Slayer says, I won a bunch of tissue culture plants from a giveaway. That is cool. I am at the point now where I think I'm going to try and give tissue culture plants a shot again and be able to, like, hopefully document it pretty well and see how well it goes for me. It's been a while since I've tried them, so I'm hoping that the technology has caught up with the tissue culture plants, and maybe they will do better and adapt better. I mean, I know I talked to the guy from Tropica, who's like the main guy, and he was saying that it is different now, because I was asking him about, you know, a couple years ago I was trying tissue culture plants. I had very poor results personally, and he was saying that, yes, they do have kind of a different formula and things that they do now as compared to in the past. So I'm definitely kind of looking forward to definitely try some out and see if I can get them doing better than I did before. Dark and Chaos says, stupid question, would you get better CO2 distribution if you put the diffuser at the intake for a matten filter? Yes, you would get better diffusion, but you would run a good risk of annihilating your bacterial colonization, the colony of bacteria that you have. Kind of learned that a long time ago from some of the stuff that got... oh, wow. Nathaniel John saying the same thing that I was saying. Yeah, so props to Nathaniel. What's up, dude? Just as I'm, like, reading through the chat. Yes, we found out maybe 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. We were running our CO2 into the intake of a hang-on back filter to use that as the diffuser, and we started getting really weird. Results from water testing to find out, you know, when we were doing our water testing to find out, like, I'm getting really weird results now, and it was pretty consistent once we started testing to take the CO2 out, put the CO2 back in, take the CO2 out, put the CO2 back in. It really became obvious that whatever it was that was causing that, it was just happening in our system. So maybe it's only a limited scenario that could happen to certain people out there, but for us, it just kept happening. So it was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop doing it. So we ended up stopping to do that, or stopping from doing that. So I wouldn't do it that. I honestly wouldn't do it. Mortal Slayer says they are Tropica plants. Cool. I would give them a shot. Like I said, I talked to the guy from there because they were at Super Zoo in Germany when we were there, or Inner Zoo, sorry, not Super Zoo. Super Zoo is Las Vegas. When we were at Inner Zoo, they were there. They were all there, and definitely spent some time looking at their displays. You know, just kind of picking their brains about stuff that they got. You know, trying to figure out what they got coming out this year and stuff like that. So, but it was pretty cool. Let's see here. Noob Phobo is asking, what are tissue culture plants? I can explain it pretty easily, I guess. It's basically plants that are cloned, okay? So they're basically cloned in a lab and grown immersed, so up in the air, right? So they don't have any algae, they don't have any stuff like that, but they're basically cloning the best... you know, the best genetic species that they can find of that plant. It's basically the best way to do it, and then they grow it in this hypernutrient gel stuff, so it actually starts spreading out, and it does quite well for a lot of people. I've talked to tons of people that have great luck with it. I just saying that, like, my personal experiences have been bad, but it has been a few years since I've been doing them. Now, one of the cool things for them is they're shelf stable. So, like, they're in these little cups that just kind of sit up on the shelf, which is great. I just wish that they worked better for me in the past. So I'm going to try them again, and I'm going to try and document it and see how well they work nowadays. But, you know. Recommendations for the diffuser. Diffusion can be pretty simple. As you guys know, I almost always build a reactor that's in my sump. That's almost always the way that I go about it. And that's, you know, that's just the way that it is, you know. And the diffuser, let me see. So diffusing is actually easier than people think. You basically just want it to end up in the water column without essentially it going from into the water and just going straight out. You don't want it to go out. So it will dissolve into the water because CO2 just has a tendency to dissolve into the water. It's just not going to be as high a concentration as like out in the air. But the ISTA ones that I saw, where did that thing go? Was it ISTA? Yeah, these ones right here. Yeah, there it is. I've used these in the past for an extended amount of time. I wouldn't say that they're the best. I wouldn't say that they're the worst. I would say that they're the simplest to utilize. Now, the downside to the CO2 diffusers is that you'll have to replace them. I just wish, you know, any of the bleach baths, any of that crazy stuff I used to do to get them to be clear again, they just never really come out as working as well as they do when they're new. So there will come a time that you'll probably have to replace it. That, to me, is enough of a deterrent to go, all right, I'm going to find a better way to do this, just because I don't want to have a reoccurring cost of something that is going on. Savannah the Aqua Llama. What's up, Savannah? How you doing? We got Pogostemon erectus is one of them. And a purple flame, a flame sword. There we go. Those are the two ones. I posted them in the chat there for you, in case you missed it. So those are the plants that we're mainly focusing on today into this 150, because that's just really the ones that needed to get planted. So that's what was going down. I'm happy that they converted. But we got a super chat from Alvin Alejo saying, being in Korea sucks, miss having my fish and family. 9 more months. I should go look for a small one I can hide in my room. Alvin, I don't know why you're in Korea. What's going on in Korea? But it sounds like you have like a timeline as to why you're in Korea. So maybe you're out there for some kind of project or something. Or maybe you're stationed out there. Not 100%. But hopefully everything goes well for you in Korea. I wouldn't like being away from all my tanks and all that kind of stuff for a year either. Or 9 months. Either way. James Wells says the upside down Gatorade bottle. Yes, that was a great feature that we saw at the Ocean Aquariums. That was featured on Aquarium Co-op's channel, on Corey's channel. Him actually filling up the upside down bottle. And that actually works pretty well too. It's just not the most attractive thing to have in your aquarium, so I try to avoid the unattractive stuff. Well, there's Alvin. He says in the Army. Okay, he's stationed in Korea. For the next 9 months. Politics coming up real quick here. I wish all the Space Force guys could just come back home. Can we just go back? Can we just go back to that and have all of our military guys here? Can we do that? Can we have all of our military guys back here? Can we just please do that? It makes me depressed. The millions of people, or not millions, sorry. What is it? 800,000 men and women that are stationed around the world, and the trillions of dollars every year. I wish they would just bring them back here. I live right near a military base, and it seems like they do plenty of training and stuff there to keep everybody sharp. I think you could probably be doing it back here. I don't think everyone needs to be stationed around the world. I don't think the Americans need to be doing that. If there's an issue, we can send out a plane or something, right? Savannah, Brandon Skelly is here. Test tube or something. Was wondering how long it would last. Just depends on the volume. So those bottles that Justin was using at Ocean Aquarium, they're probably like, maybe they're just under 1 liter or something like that, I think. And he was saying that they would last like 2 to 3 days like that. So I think just the smaller the bottle, it will just diffuse quicker. I mean, obviously that's pretty... I'm thinking that that's probably... Most people are like, yeah, duh. But like a test tube or something seems pretty small. Because like I was saying, those bottles were like 1 liter. And he said he would have to fill them up every 2 days. So I'm guessing a test tube probably wouldn't even make the whole day. I'm guessing. It's Nature Man says, don't get me started on conspiracy theory. Yes, understandable. I won't. The Jagator 1 is here. Where should I place my Fluval CO2 kit in my 20 long, and how many bubbles per second? I typically set mine to 1.5 to 2 bubbles a second, which seems pretty aggressive, but I've got good light. I've got a lot of plants, so I do kind of, if I was just starting out, if it's like a brand new CO2, I'd count to 2 for every bubble and then work your way up. You want to kind of work your way up just to make sure that you, that you don't just like gas the tank like one day all random. And Ryan Brown says you would want something wide mouth as well for better diffusion. Yeah, you might be able to get one of those like 500 milliliter test tubes, something like that. You could mount it maybe with like some suction cups or something like that, and then fill it up with your CO2 every day. That might be enough. Like I was saying, he had like the 1 liter bottles in there. He had the tops cut off for like kind of ease of access and stuff. And yeah, that was working pretty well. Let's see here. Nathaniel, or Nando Manuel is asking, Gatorade bottle method, anyone? I think a lot of people do that. I would, it's something I would look into. It's something I would look into doing for sure, but, I build reactors and stuff, so it almost feels like a step backwards. But maybe I'll do one at some point in time. Matthew Waybright says, what's up, Joel? Was in your neck of the woods this past weekend. Went to Safeco. Well, what's up, man? You're supposed to say what's up. You're supposed to say what's up when you're in town. Even though you're saying what's up now. I mean, I get it. Ian F. Singer is here with the $2.79 Canadian style super chat. How do you like Boost Godzilla? The Bucephalandra. Godzilla. I like it. I think it's pretty nice. I mean, let's be honest here. It's basically the one that I got is the Godzilla one. That's the green Godzilla is basically what I got. I like it. I'm not against it. I almost feel like I'm pulling teeth with the Bucephalandra though. It's just, it takes so long, even though it is flowering and growing and sending out new leaves and stuff like that. I can get the Anubias Nana Petite to grow faster than the Bucephalandra because it's supposed to be. It's one that I really don't think spends a lot of time underwater, so I think it does a lot of its growing when it's immersed. So I might actually be using those for an emergent growth situation here fairly soon. Just to see if I can't propagate them more rapidly. I might take like 2 of the 6 and try to grow them emergent and see if I can get there. BL Harlan. Hopefully I got that right. Sorry, man. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I got a big case of the Mondays. Walked into my house at 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Do I need to be worried about my fish tanks? Well, you know, if you have some really cold water species, I would be kind of worried about it. But I think, honestly, you know, 95 degrees is pretty warm, but I would check the temperature on the aquariums. If the air temperature is like 95, that probably means that the box of water is probably at like 86, I would guess. It's typically colder than the air temperature. You know, the air doesn't heat it up to the exact same. So, you know, I guess a good example of that would be, I know a lot of fish rooms that they heat the whole entire room. And, you know, Jimmy and I were talking about this the other weekend. Like, one of the fish rooms that he went to, it sits at 92 degrees because there's no heaters in any of the tanks. And he wants them to be at about 80, you know, about 80 degrees, 82 degrees, stuff like that. It's about 10 degrees cooler. But I would just monitor the temperature. I would just keep in mind that the higher the temperature for a little bit of time isn't really going to be that big of a deal unless you already have problems in your tank. So if you have a lot of ammonia in your tank, yes, you could have problems. If you don't have any oxygenation in your tank, yes, you could have problems. A lot of those systems are pretty easy to remedy. If just the AC is out temporarily, that shouldn't really be that big of a deal. I would do probably a bit of a water change if it's been a long time, and I would just make sure that you have some oxygenation going on into your tank, and everything should be fine. Now remember, in nature, saltwater reefs do stay at a fairly close same temperature throughout the year when you're talking about the deeper reef stuff. So like the reef stuff that is, say, 30 feet, 25, 30 feet deep, that stuff's all probably going to be staying at about the same temperature just about all year round. But, you know, stuff that lives up by the top of the water will have a lot of temperature fluctuation depending on the time of year and things that are going on. It is not going to be that big of a deal for something that is typically, you know, like supposed to, with air quotes, be at 78 degrees. If it goes up to 85 degrees, it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. It shouldn't kill your fish. It shouldn't kill your tank. It shouldn't kill your plants. It really shouldn't do anything. If it gets really, really, really hot, that could be a problem. You know, obviously, if you get to a point where you're at 150 degrees or something, then you could be having an issue. But if you're worried about too much heat in the tanks, I would just plug in a little desk fan and just point it down at the top surface of the water, allow a little bit of evaporation from that air moving across the top of the water. I would turn the lights off because the lights are going to be adding some temperature to the tanks, and I'm sure you're going to be fine. You know, for instance, there's a lot of people I talk to overseas, and one of them, one of the guys I was talking to the other day was just cracking up, laughing, because he was like, my house is 98 degrees, 105 degrees, all for 6 months straight. And he's like, I don't have any heaters. I don't have anything like that in my house because he doesn't have AC. And all of his tanks are growing like crazy. So, you know, it's really one of those things where it's like that temperature shouldn't be that big of a deal. Obviously, if something's 130, 140 degrees or something like that, that's going to be a real problem. But some light fluctuations in temperature is not really going to be a problem. Dark and Chaos is asking, what temp is ideal for shrimp? Depends on the shrimp. It really does. It really does depend on the shrimp. One of the crazy things that I've been through in the past was I had my fish room in this warehouse, and the power was out to that warehouse while it was, I think it was 5 below zero out that week. And I wasn't in town, and I personally learned my lesson from not having a house sitter or someone to watch my aquariums while I was out of town. It was super cold out. It was snowing and stuff, and I couldn't get to the warehouse. That was the biggest problem. There wasn't any road that I could drive on to get to the warehouse, to get down there. There's a bunch of snow on the ground, ice. The roads were just all closed up, and it was all downhill and all that crazy stuff. There wasn't any real way for me to get there, and I didn't have anybody at the warehouse that could actually go there and look at it. So the warehouse was just sitting there empty with nobody in it the whole entire time, and the power was off. So an old crummy warehouse like that, the temperature inside there dropped way down to freezing. I had a bunch of freshwater tanks that were frozen. My reef had like ice crystals floating around in it. That's how cold it was in there. Now here's the crazy thing. You know who survived? The snails and the shrimp survived in the reef tank even. Frozen, bro. And that was pretty wild and unexpected, for sure. So did not expect that. And they're the only things that survived from the reef. All the coral died. All my reef fish died and stuff like that. It was terrible, and it sucked. And, if, somebody earlier thought I was talking trash, and, I'm not really talking trash. I'm going to tell you guys a story where I screwed up, too. I think the only difference is I didn't make videos about it to make money off of it or anything. That's the thing that bugs me. That's the thing that bothers me about that whole situation. The fish couldn't leave. I felt bad about it. I didn't, and that just bothers me. It still does. It's personally bothers me. It personally bothers me when the news posts stuff of explosions and people dying and stuff like that too. So I find it to be the exact same parallel for me. That bothers me. Fancy Tail Aquatic says, next year the American Library Convention will be in Louisville, Kentucky. Hope Corvus might make it, as I will be there. Ooh, I might be there myself. My sister actually lives in Louisville, so I might actually be able to make that pretty easily. My sister lives in Louisville, and I went to the American Library Convention just this last year. I had a great time there, met a bunch of really cool people, and I really had a swell time, honestly. Let's see. Foster's Fish is saying, yo, a lot today. Let's sigh. Bob Kaler's Fish Hobby says, congrats on 15K. Well, thank you. Let's see. Mr. B's Fishing Thing says, heat wave here. Haven't lost a fish yet. That's awesome, dude. Glad to hear that. Let's see here. Oh, people saying Bob Steenfot's live after this. Yes, Bob Steenfot goes live at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is about 10 minutes away. And I'm coming up on the end of the show because it's coming up on the end of the show, you guys. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Seems like we're running out of the fast-paced commentary. It's probably because we've been here for a while. We've been live for a while, and it's going to be time to go. But we'll be back on Wednesday for sure. And I hope to make it to the American Library Association. Gerald Wallace says, 15K, sweet. Come on, 20. Thanks, man. Definitely appreciate it. M. Howie, thanks. Congrats on 15K. Thank you very much. Let's see. Oh, man, we have so many super chatters to say thanks to. We got Gone Mad. Thank you very much. We got Joel Gillett coming in twice. Thank you very much. And also, thanks for being a moderator. And also, Gone Mad, thanks for being a moderator. Barbara Jackson with the super chat. Thank you very much. Mortal Slayer, again, multiple super chats. Thank you. Patrick's Aquatics, Snowflake, 3981. Thank you very much. Aqua Freedom. Thank you very much. Zombie Drummer, Mr. Sunmade, Alvin Alejo, MB Gold F. That's so hard. I don't know what's wrong with me. James Wells, thank you very much. Meat Man, for sure, thank you. ENF Singer, coming out of Canada, thank you. Neil, with a $5 super chat right down here at the end, saying here is to 15K. Well, thank you very much. We finally hit it. To be honest with you guys, I thought it was going to happen a while ago, but it took a time. We took our time. We went slow, and we just added to the Oceaneers one at a time, little bit by little bit. And what do we got? 1503. There it is. Can this camera handle it? I don't think so. Well, we got 15,003. That's the current count right now. Jeffro's Fish Keeping says I was the 101. Like, lols. It'll be a long time ago. But thank you very much, you guys. I hope everybody has a fantastic Monday. If I didn't get to your questions or whatever, you can always throw them in the comments down below. Hit the like button, turn the bell, and the subscribe and all that nonsense. And we also, quickly before I forget, I've got a brand new Oceaneer patronizing today. Jake Hussey coming in to $5 on the Patreon. We also had one over the weekend. Koran Bong Aquatics, and during the show, Shelby Waters edited. Oh, well, thank you, Shelby. All good. Sorry. Oh, never mind. It's deleted. Oops. Anyhow. Everybody have a great day out there, and I will talk to you later. Later? Later.